Hello, everyone. Welcome. So nice to see you all. Everyone's filtering into our webinar. It's lovely to see you. Go ahead and join us in chat if you'd like to. Love to hear. Say hi. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And very excited to have you joining us. We've got just about 4 minutes or so before we'll officially begin. We should be getting started. It is the top of the hour and you have set aside this time to spend here with us. And I'm delighted that you did. There is a lot of competition for your time. Your to-do list is probably pretty long, maybe more, especially this time of year. The calendar has, double bookings. And here you are, you made the time. You said, this is important to me and I'm doing this. And we're so very glad to have you tuning in to Welcome Home. 3 steps to create a cozy and clutter-free space. Really a home that we love to spend time in as it's getting darker earlier and maybe a little cooler too. Again, depends on where you're tuning in from, but it's a nice time to kind of come indoors. Maybe over the summer, it was the idea of spending, outdoor time and doing a lot of outdoor things. And now it might be more indoor. And now you're like, wait a minute, where'd all this stuff come from? Did someone drop these things off? I don't remember. So many boxes in the corner of the dining room. Where did everything come from in that closet? And why can't I shut that drawer in the kitchen? And so we're just maybe starting to recognize all the stuff, all the things that have come in, and we're looking and we're like, gosh, where am I going to put decorations, seasonal decor, holiday decorations? It just feels like we're out of space and out of time, because now if we're like, oh my gosh, I'd love to decorate, but there's no room, or I can't find the decorations because there's 6 boxes somewhere in this home or apartment and I can't find them, or I can't get to the attic, the basement, or I don't even know which boxes are which. It can all just take that joy of spending time at home and zap it. And you're like, oh, forget it. I'll do it next year. So hopefully these 3 simple steps will have you feeling sparkly and joyful for the season. And most especially feeling comfortable in your own home, your apartment, your studio apartment, your condo, your townhome, your home, wherever you are, that you feel welcome home. You may also be welcoming in company, but whether or not you're entertaining, we want to make it a space that you love spending time in, where there's room for all the activities that you're looking forward to, whether it's baking or reading, maybe it's decorating or a hobby. Who wants to put together a puzzle? Who has a table to put together a puzzle on? Nope, not me, because it's covered in stuff, all the stuff. So if you would love to put together a puzzle, break out a board game or anything else, but you're feeling stuck when it comes to this stuff, I'm so very glad that you're here with us this evening. I'm going to be sharing 3 simple steps with you. We will then look at how we could apply those steps to different key areas of our home. I'll give you some insider tips when it comes to how organizers and decorators really get that welcome, cozy space put together in a flash. And then, of course, along the way and at the end, if you have any questions, love to answer those for you. Chat's open, and of course, so is our Q&A. So if what you're noticing as you're tuning in with me is my background, as Cindy just mentioned in the chat, kind of really loving the cozy elements, right? Cozy colors, cozy elements. I'm going to give you some of these tricks along the way that you could use in your very own space. Hopefully, I was shopping at home so we don't have to go buy anything new, which would be lovely, right? Good for the budget, good for the environment, just really the idea of shopping at home. And we'll look at some ways to do that. And then I'll give you the opportunity to get a little cozy with us. So we'll be pausing the actual program for just a moment, and I'll invite you to join us with a little live tidy up. It's always optional, so of course you wouldn't have to do it, but if you'd like to, it would be great to have you tune in, and I'll pause and I'll set a timer and invite you to do a little something with us. So hopefully you're excited about what this time is going to bring us, and let's get started with those 3 simple steps. Are you ready? If you're taking notes, you probably wrote down that today is November 30th, 2023. So happy December, a few more hours before that calendar turns over to a new month. It's a perfect time to kind of wrap up November, start fresh for December. So if you're taking some notes, and of course you wrote down our beautiful library, and we do invite you to visit the library's website to see everything that's coming up. And I'm going to tell you about 5 different opportunities for you to join me in the upcoming months, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. My name is Jamie Novak, spelled just how you see it on the video, and my website is jamienovak.com. So if we're not already friends, I hope that we will become fast friends and that we'll stay in touch beyond our time together tonight. Who's ready for those 3 steps? Give us a ready in the chat. Give us an R in the chat. Give us a yes or a thumbs up. Let me know who is ready for those 3 steps that I cannot wait to share with you. Oh yes, it looks like we are ready to roll. Fantastic. Okay, we ready? Step number 1, choose a small spot. Choose a small spot. Here come all those readies. Oh my gosh, everyone is really excited to get started. And here we go. We're going to begin with something really simple. Step 1 of 3 is choose a small spot. So we're going to talk about why, and you're probably already, thinking, you know what? I wanted to do the whole house. Yeah, that's great. But our time is limited. Our energy can be limited. Our ability to move things around, right? And so what if we choose a small spot? Not the whole home, not even a whole room, a corner, a table, a bookcase, a dresser. Choose a small spot. What I think is true, and you might agree with me, is that we see success in small, consistent steps. Typically, we don't see success in decluttering or any other tackled project that we're going to take on in one big moment, right? We don't usually have a big moment, but even if we did, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't have the time and energy. But small, consistent steps, what happens? We make those lasting changes. So choose a small spot, not a whole home, not a whole apartment, not even a whole room, one small spot. So remember, we're going to have an opportunity to do a little decluttering together in just a moment. And maybe you're already turning your attention to, oh yeah, you know what? Not the whole living room, that table, not the whole desk that you're sitting at to join us, that drawer, not the whole kitchen, one end of the countertop, not the whole dining room table, one side, not the entire bookcase or dresser top, one area. Hopefully that feels a lot more manageable. You can see the success in a small window, which is really motivating. And then we keep going and we keep going. So we're going to set a timer in a little bit, start thinking about where you might like to turn your attention to, because step 1 of 3 is choose a small spot. Small spot. Now you're going to think, oh, well, but then there's so much more to do. There's always so much more to do, right? Just running life all year round, there's a long to-do list. And sometimes I think, and I've even done this myself, I'll say, well, I'll do the fun thing after I finish my to-do list. Guess when you get to do the fun thing? Never, because the list is never done. A to-do list is an ongoing list of things to do. There's always something else to do. So the idea, I think, is to do a little, sprinkle in the fun stuff, then do a little more. So small space, that's what we want to focus in on. You might have a short list of multiple small spaces, but let's pick one to get started. Step 1 of 3, choose a small spot. All right, step 2. And I don't think this one's going to come as any big surprise, but step 2 is remove the clutter. And the reason I chose this as step 2 is because once you've selected your space, small, we have to now turn that critical eye to the stuff that's there and decide what do I want to keep and what do I want to toss, which coincidentally is the title of my newest book published by Reader's Digest. It's titled, Keep This, Toss That. And why did I select that? For the exact reason of when we're looking at a space, sometimes it's really hard to decide what to keep and what to toss. And just to clarify, toss doesn't mean toss in the trash. To me, toss means get it out of the house to someone that can use and love it, whether that's donating it or selling it or passing it along. Maybe it's recycle, maybe it's trash, but there's probably someone out there that can use it even if it's broken. If it's not right for you anymore, what do we do with it? So I'm going to be giving you some resources that's going to answer that exact question for you as we move along. So when step 2, just sort of as an umbrella answer, it says remove clutter. Well, yeah, I kind of knew that, right? It's like, why is she saying that? It's pretty obvious, remove the clutter, but it's the how, because we know that's what we need to do, but how do I do it? That's can be the tricky part where we get a little tripped up and then it's like, I'll just do it later. And then we walk away and another year goes by and all the same stuff is on the table, plus more usually, because we're always getting more. So removing the clutter, what does that actually look like? So I think it could look like dedicating a breakup box. So a breakup box to me is the empty box that I'm going to bring out, that as I'm removing my everyday objects that are sitting out, probably on a flat surface, a bookcase, a floating shelf, a table, top of a dresser, and they're just kind of stuff that's been there. It could be a candle, or maybe it is a photograph. Maybe it's a photograph frame, but there's no picture inside, which happens a lot. You'd be surprised, but it happens a lot. Little figurines. I'm famous for nature, pine cones and seashells and all sorts of rocks that feel like they want to come home with me. And then they're just sitting there and they're basically dust collectors. If you've joined me for a program in the past, or if you read my newest book, Keep This, Toss That, you know I have an actual definition for the word cute. So if you think of cute plush toys, cute figurines, all the cute collectibles and souvenirs, right? Cute. So spelling of cute, C-U-T-E. I think it's actually an acronym, and I think cute stands for can't use this ever. Can't use this ever. Basically, an adorable dust collector. Now, you might say, Jamie, I love it. It makes me happy. It takes me back to a moment. It reminds me of a person. I love it. In which case, display it. Now, do we display it year round? I don't know. You might take it down and put up holiday-ish things. You might blend it into your decor. And in fact, we can blend seasonal items that would sort of be like this. This is a little tiger. He's a little wooden tiger, and he hung on the mobile over my crib for when I was like very little. And so the mobile, of course, the wood mobile didn't quite make it through all the years. But this little guy's right here. Now he comes out just about this time once a year. He gets displayed in with seasonal and holiday decor. Then he goes away. And that's what makes him special, because I look forward to unboxing him. So if you have some cute things that you don't love anymore, maybe they go to a new home, toss. And if you have some things that are sitting in storage because they're treasures, maybe we blend them in with the decor. And that could be a really easy way to look forward to seeing them without them just becoming part of the landscape of your home and you don't really see them anymore. Talking about the landscape of your home, when you look around, to create that calm space, think of a beautiful high-end luxury hotel room, a spa. Somewhere else that comes to mind as we talk about soothing and calm and comforting and nurturing. What do we think? Like, there's a very common theme with all those spaces, right? Maybe you're even looking through like an architectural magazine or just a magazine and there's a beautiful photo of a home. Those spaces, what they don't have is visual noise. And you can think of clutter as visual noise. a pile of papers, all different boxes with all different labels and stickers and decor and colors and logos and words, right? Noise. Think of the difference. The way I kind of imagine it is, think of the difference of you're driving down maybe a very busy city street. There's honking, lots of cars, so many signs to pay attention to, lights you have to focus on, red light, turn here, don't turn there, signs and noise and all of it coming at you. Busy, cluttered. Versus a beautiful winding road through the woods, leaves, kind of like this one, a walk down this lane. What do we see? Beauty, chirping birds, rustling leaves, right? There's not a lot to really call our senses. There's not a lot of visual noise. There's not signs and words and colors and all of that you have to take in. Now, they both serve a purpose, but in your home, if you're going for this calm, cozy environment, right? Then if everywhere you look, there's something for you to do, to put away, to focus on, to follow up on. It's like, gosh, I can't even feel at peace in my own space because everywhere I look, there's something. Got to dust that. I got to read this. I've got to put this away. It's all calling for your attention. And even if you don't notice that you're paying attention to it, you are, right? You're noticing it. Even if you're not actually focused on that thing, you're noticing it. You're taking in all of those items. And then it's pretty impossible to feel rested and calm. So we don't necessarily have to strive for that, high-end luxury, spa-like, or, in a hotel, like a bedroom space. But if you're leaning more towards that, how do we get there? And it is removing the clutter. It's removing all the things that are calling at our senses, and we can't even relax. And we just need to relax. There's so much going on in our home, in our lives, in the world. We just want to take that sigh, like that breath you can let down, release at home. And if it can't be your entire home, at least not right now, all at once, what's the first space? What's that first one that's calling to you? Have you dreamt of like a little reading nook? Do you just want the corner of your couch where you can cozy up with a comfy throw, but you don't even know where the throw blanket is, or you're saving it for a special day? Even worse, right? Now it's in a closet. Like, no, can't touch that one till we use up the one we have. Bring out the things, use them, enjoy them, including things that are special to you. Maybe you've inherited some items. Has anyone inherited a set of dishes? 7 sets of dishes? Are they sitting in a basement, attic, garage, back room, closet? And you're like, well, I inherited it. It's special. It might be valuable. I don't know. This little teacup sits and it holds my jewelry bedside. So I could have my jewelry on a tray, but again, it's all very visual, right? So things can fall off the tray. The tray is attracting your attention. Here, it's sort of disguised. It's put away, but not put away so much that I forget to wear it. So use the special things. You inherited stuff. Break up the set of dishes. That's exactly what we did. My one sister took the soup tureen. My other sister, it's just her and her husband. They have 2 place settings. I took a teacup. My other sister took a platter. So you can break up the sets. Enjoy the items. That's what they're there for. So we're removing the clutter, looking at using things in new and unique ways, shopping at home first. See if you have something that would work. When it comes to removing the clutter, another way to do that is for the items we need, because we need some stuff, right? What would look better to your eye? What feels like it would be cozier? A big stack of magazines and catalogs to be read that always kind of tips over, or it's sitting by the couch, maybe on a table. Or a beautiful decorative basket where those items are there, still equally as accessible, but you're not seeing them all. And then every time you look over, you're like, oh, I meant to read all of that. Now, let me just remind you, we have an awesome library, and the library has the magazines. You can read them digitally. You can go in and make it a thing to go into the library and read the magazines. Or maybe you unsubscribe from some of the magazines that you've been spending money to get the magazine subscription, and you take that time, that money, that energy, and put it towards something that is way more important to you as we're moving into 2024, that you're like, yeah, you know what? Instead of someone telling me how I could be doing things better, what I'm missing out on, the information's just coming at you. Read this, 5 things to do better. Here's a great recipe. You're not cleaning this right. Okay. Or none of that. And now I have time. I have time to take a walk. I have time for a hobby. I have time and money and space and energy for things that are way more important than someone telling you what you should be doing better. But if you love your magazines, pop them in a beautiful basket. Don't go buy another basket. I know you have something you can already use, but instead of a stack, right? Put them in something. And this is true not only of your to be read pile, but of things that are on shelves. If you put them in containers, even if the container doesn't have a lid because you're in there all the time getting things out, or turn the container around so that you just see the back of it. And then you can relax. Your eyes aren't always looking at something. Carol shares in the chat, to feel cozy, right? The clutter just distracts. It distracts from your life. It distracts from the things that are important. It is such a distraction. So step 1, we chose that small spot. Step 2, we're removing the clutter. And this might look like you are taking down everyday decor that has just been there forever and you've really not thought about it that much. And you're going to put it in the breakup box. And then you're going to just reconsider it. Take a little break from the relationship. And maybe at the end of the season, you'll bring out the box of things that you're supposed to put back when you're putting away the seasonal or decorations. And you'll reconsider and go, you know what? I think we're going to break up. I didn't miss you as much as I thought I would. I didn't miss having to clean you. I'd forgotten that you were even there. I'm not even going to take you out of the box. I'm just going to go ahead and donate it. So that's how you could use the breakup box to find some things that you're testing it, right? Will I miss it? And you don't maybe want to give it away right now because you're not sure, but at the end of the season, you'll go, yeah, not really interested. Or, oh my gosh, I miss this so much. I love it. I have to display it. And a great way to display things so that it looks intentional is always with the rule of 3. So odd numbers is almost always best. 3 is almost always the way to go. And that is the idea of bringing 3 collectible items together. And maybe you put them on a cake plate. How many of us have a cake plate sitting somewhere in a kitchen or a closet, taking up a lot of space, and maybe we're not using it? And what if you were to display things on the cake plate or under the glass dome? First of all, less to dust, but it also looks very intentional. A bookcase, sort of the interior design rule, is that a bookcase is typically filled with 75% books. Now, this may be shocking, especially to those of us that are big readers, or we want more time to read, or we're collectors of books. Remember, our awesome Chelmsford Library has the books that we can borrow, and it might free up some space for you to find some books to share. So 75% filled, which with books, which leaves you space for some decor pieces, and then, and this is going to be shocking, empty space. I know, especially if we're just so accustomed to filling up all that empty space. But the empty space gives your eyes a moment to rest, gives your space a little bit to breathe, and it is really, really important. So maybe consider getting comfortable with a little bit of empty space. Plus, it's less to clean, which I think we're all a big fan of. So step 1 of 3 was choose a small space. And maybe you've already selected your small space. Maybe you're wanting to clear off a table so that you can go through photographs over the winter season. Maybe you have boxes of those. You want to put a puzzle together, get back into a hobby, or start a new hobby. Step 2, remove the clutter. Remove the clutter. And that might look like containing things in a way that works for you. So here, right behind me, we have this I shopped my home. So it's just a basic hurricane glass vase. I put in some fairy lights underneath and then a flameless candle up top. I don't light real candles anymore. I'm famous for leaving and going, did I turn out the candle? And then it makes me nervous that I didn't blow it out. So I have flameless candles and they're on a timer. They come on. It makes me happy. They go off. I didn't have to worry about it. Underneath that, right here, stacks of boxes. So these boxes are somewhat decorative in nature. I kind of like the design. I like the message. They fit with my like overall decor. So a stack of them just sits right there. And the wonderful thing about them is I can store things and disguise my clutter in plain sight. So this box happens to hold my watercolor palettes and everything to do my watercolor classes. So when it's time for watercolor class, instead of stressing out and has anyone seen my palette? Where is my paper? I lost a brush, right? And now what's supposed to be a fun moment has turned into a big stressful situation. I've lost things. I have to rebuy things. I can't find what I need. Now I'm late for class. It's a downward spiral and it's not very fun. So look at this. Everything for that project right here in the box right behind me, and that allows me to pull it out, enjoy my class, and then just move along. And then everything gets put back, and that's the other beautiful part. I don't have to worry about, I left it on the table because I have class again in a week. It's so easy to put it away. If you're working from home, you may find that you want sort of an office in a box where you kind of have your everything you need for office or schoolwork, right? There's probably so many different opportunities for what you might put in a box or two like this. You probably have boxes like this. So I'm guessing we can just shop at home and go ahead and use these types of boxes, repurpose them, and everything's right there. Label them if you need, or you'll know what's inside each one. But being able to put things away like that, so much easier than things left out to put away later. We all know later's not going to happen. Then we've lost a paintbrush. And why did we want to take classes in the first place? It's not as stress-free as it was supposed to be. So everything in a box like that, a project box, I have one box that's all cords and cables. So if anyone needs to plug anything in or charge something and we don't know, do we have the right cable? They're all there. They used to be in different drawers and in a box and in a utility closet. No one could find anything. And if it feels like that in your home where you're wasting time and energy, money, rebuying things, that's not fun. So can we use boxes possibly to put items into? Don't forget to use boxes as drawer organizers. I know we're probably all saving. They're really good boxes. Maybe you got a new phone. They're usually a pretty sturdy box. You could use an egg carton or an ice cube tray. Slide it into the drawer, and then you have compartments. You don't have to go buy anything new. We can disguise things right in plain sight. So you just have everything there. Now, for the holiday season, one of my boxes includes my special ribbons and bows and my extra tape and all the things that I'm going to need. Now, this is just a seasonal box, and then that box, whether you keep it out for gift wrap year round or you just have special gift wrap that gets put away for the season. And I have one other box, and that sits out just for the holiday time because it's all the things that I'm going to need. The teeny tiny screwdriver to open up the little plastic compartments, right? And then I could never find the screwdriver. So all those little things, maybe you're putting out strands of lights and they always come with the extra little, light bulbs. And then sometimes that little silver thing that's meant to turn them into flashers, right? If you want the whole strand to flash. So where am I putting that stuff? Normally I would just either leave it on a table or tuck it in a drawer, never to be seen again. So this is a really easy way to maybe put all that together. In just a moment, I'm going to give you the opportunity to join us for a teeny tiny tidy up. So hopefully you've already noticed a spot that's been calling your name. And I just want to mention that we often forget the walls. And the walls, it's one of the biggest surfaces in our home, and it can get overlooked because we've put up artwork or decor, and then we just tend to not see it anymore. So like this piece behind me is actually a poster. And so I put those Velcro strips up. So one piece is the hook and loop tape and the other is the opposite side, and they stick together. So there's one in each corner, but what that allows me to do is to unpeel it, roll it, put it away, and bring out the one for the winter, which if you join us, the library is hosting a series with me. And if you're enjoying our time together this evening, I do hope you'll come back for the next in the series, which is happening on December 14th. It's a Thursday, December 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So when you come back for that one, you're going to see a brand new piece of decor behind me because it makes it really easy to swap it out. So sometimes we forget to look at the walls, and that is one of the biggest surfaces in our homes. So we're going to talk resources when we come back. I have to give you that third step right now, and then I'll give you the opportunity to go to a spot that's been calling your name. Maybe it's a clutter catch-all, probably a flat surface, where you're like, I just want this stuff gone through. Just be done with it. And then we can either leave empty space, or we'll have room to decorate with something that we'd rather look at than the clutter. So step 3 is sprinkle on the cozy. So we just want to bring out the things that make us happy. It might be sparkles. It might be lights. Lights make me happy, especially this time of year when it gets darker earlier. So you might be thinking, how can I bring in some of this cozy? So let me tell you, it's usually about the 5 senses. We want to layer. We want to layer in textures and scents. We want to look at different fabrics and colors. We want it all to like envelop us. So this is why, scents this time of year, whether it is a candle, if you burn a live candle, or maybe you're just bringing in, beautiful greenery that has sort of like that fresh pine scent. So we want to think smells. You want to think layers. This is where you get that, cozy blanket, and then maybe it's a cable knit throw pillow. So you've got different layers, you've got different textures. So really soothing. And you can think of it like this: lids, less, lights, and layers. Lids, less, lights, and layers. So lids, I think sometimes containers come with lids and we think we have to use them. I don't think that's true. Sometimes if we're more of a drop kind of a person, take the lid, put it underneath so you can still drop, but you're dropping it into a closed container. So you don't have to look at it. It's there, but it's accessible. So lids, layers, we just talked layers, lights, oh yeah, all the lights, and less. So just looking at paring down each area. We don't have to worry about the whole home. Don't even have to think about a whole room. We have to choose one area and just work right there, small spaces. Decanting things is also a great option. It's not right for everyone in every space, but as you might imagine, if you can sort of picture maybe a beautiful bathroom, maybe it's in a showroom or it's on a television show or a makeover show, you don't typically see the shampoo bottle, the soap dispenser with the brand logo on it, right? What do you see? You see a beautiful soap dispenser that's typically a solid color or glass. You're going to see the shampoo and conditioner decanted into other containers. Now, I don't know that, all the time I'm not decanting my shampoo, but just changing out the soap dispenser, because you often see the vanity, maybe more so than the shower, makes a huge difference. And closed storage. So the challenge here is that if our storage is already overflowing, there's not a lot of places to put the stuff that's sitting out. So if you're wondering where to begin, my invitation to you is to start in the storage space, which can feel a little defeating because you're like, well, I just worked for 10 minutes and nothing looks any different. And that's because it's behind a closed door, it's a closet shelf, it's a drawer, it's a cabinet. But very quickly, because now you've freed up some storage space, the stuff that's out can find a new home. Hopefully you've already identified where you'd like to begin. It depends where you're joining us from this evening. If you're at work, maybe at the library, you'll probably have to do your desk or a desk drawer. If you're joining us where you can actually step away from wherever you're joining us from and go to another room, this would be a perfect opportunity to do that. If you're not able to get up right now, but you'd still like to join us for a little tidy up, how about you just go ahead and work on photos from your phone or unsubscribing from emails? That would also be a way of decluttering if you're not able to actually get up right now. My invitation to you is to take a before photo. No one has to see it. It's for your eyes only. But because you're going to be working on this space, it can be really difficult to remember how it was when you got started. So I do encourage a before photo. It's so motivating to look at the progress you're making as you're making it. We've got a great question from Kathy in the Q&A portion. It says, what do you do about photos on spaces when there's not enough wall space? Kathy, it's like you read my mind. I love that you asked this question, and it goes beautifully to the last thought I was going to share before we all get up, and we're going to work on a little tidy up. We're going to have 7 minutes on a timer. I won't teach anything during this time. I won't say anything. I'll just invite you to join us, and I'll give you some time check-ins along the way. So we'll do a 7-minute tidy up if you'd like to join us. And to Kathy's point, what do you do? Whether you're thinking of downsizing and you have to minimize collections, or you just don't want as many things up and, out at all times, or you like it all, but there's just simply not enough room. There's so many different reasons why swapping out your stuff is the answer. So as we go to our tidy up, let me tell you about this strategy. And it is the idea of, maybe you have beautiful posters and wall art and photographs. And if you leave everything out at once, then none of it's special. It's just all there. It's too much to pay attention to. It's too much for your eyes to really focus on. It's a lot to clean. It looks busy. So what if you swap them out? Whether it's every season, if you've got a lot, you could swap them out every month. Maybe it's, twice a year, and you're taking down some wall art, you're putting up some new wall art, or you're just changing it. You're changing the pictures in the photo frames. So I do that. My picture frames, they come out every season because the pictures in the picture frames relate to the season. So I've got all the fall leaves, and I've got when we, did fall things. And then come summertime, it's the picnic pictures and it's the beach pictures. And it works because I look forward to bringing them out and reliving those memories. So when you swap items out, we're probably used to swapping out our seasonal clothing, our footwear, our seasonal accessories like gloves. Again, depends where you're joining us from. You may or may not need gloves. I sure need gloves now. So we're used to doing that, but we don't tend to extend that concept to all the other stuff. In fact, that probably I can credit my mom with this idea. Growing up, we were lucky enough to be just inundated with toys and games and things from my grandmother and my 2 aunts. And they just, you asked for it and they gave it to you, which was lovely. But it's just too much. You can't play with like all the dolls at once, right? And so it's kind of the same thing. So what my mom did was to take all of our toys, put them into a separate area. It was an unfinished area of the house. And then we would get to go sort of shopping. So we could go pick some things, bring them down, play with them, and then return them and get something new, which also sounds a lot like the library. And don't forget that the library has so many things that you can borrow. You don't always have to keep your own. So Kathy, I think the answer is the swapping idea, right? Bring some out, put some away. If this picture behind me was up all year round, I'm going to get bored of it. I'm not going to notice it. It's not going to be my favorite. It's going to go away. I'm going to bring out the winter one, which you'll get to see on December 14th if you come back and join us. And then when I bring this out again, I'll be like, oh, I remember that one. I remember how much I love it. Enjoy it, put it away. Now, this does require you having a little bit of extra storage space, but how do we get that storage space? Let go of something you don't use and love. When we come back, I'll give you some resources for what to do with the things we're not using and loving. Right now, we have to get to our timed moment. And don't forget, there'll be a recipe that I'll share with you as well. It really smells beautiful as it's cooking. So again, layering in the scents and the smells and the textures of our home. Who's ready for a 7-minute tidy up? Join us in the chat if you want to say yes. Give us a Y, give us a thumbs up. Are we ready? This is going to be 7 minutes. Your goal is before photo, number 1, before photo. And then in 7 minutes, see if you can find 7 things to leave the spot that you've selected. So I'll take 7 pieces of paper, 7 paper clips. I'll take 7 articles of clothing from a dresser drawer. I'll take 7 shoes. Doesn't have to be pairs of shoes. I'll take 7 shoes. Where would you like to begin? Are we ready? Let's count it down. We'll start in 3, 2, 1, and go. Timer's ticking. When we come back, we'll review the 3 steps and I'll give you the resources. Timer's on. Your job before photo and 7 things in 7 minutes. See you in 7. Timer's ticking. And remember, if you're not at home, you can certainly declutter emails by unsubscribing or go through photos on your phone. If you're not at home, you probably still have your wallet or handbag with you. There's always something we can do. Or just enjoy the next 4 minutes and we'll be back in just a moment. We're down to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are done. There's our jazzy little chimer letting us know we did a great job. Welcome back to the program. Hello, welcome back. Come on in. That was 7 minutes. I am reading the chat and I am blown away by everyone's successes. Jump in the chat if you want to tell us all about them. Declutter to living room, goodbye to magazines. Bonnie's been busy on the dresser. There goes Karen with clean sheets on the bed. Mary G's got 8 magazines, almost like discarded, never read. Barbara said, gone. I mean, way to go. What a win. That was 7 minutes. So if you've ever sort of overestimated how long something will take, because you're like, well, probably going to take me like all afternoon, don't have all afternoon, not interested in doing that all afternoon, I'll do it later. Look at the wins we had in just 7 minutes. What would change in the landscape of your home? How cozy and clutter-free could you make it by setting a timer for 10 minutes a day? Adding one new thing to donate to a bag every single day. Tomorrow's December 1st. What a way to start off December. 10 minutes a day, one thing in a bag a day. What does that look like? Items off the kitchen counter for Jean. I love it. Deleted a bunch of photos. Way to go, Pashi. Teresa, there's the stuff that's gone. Coupons and loaded the dishwasher. I mean, you guys are outdoing yourself. Now, Beth shares what can be a common situation. You do a little and it almost makes it that you don't want to stop. So I think that there's a bit of a balance here, right? Because you can burn yourself out on organizing, where you almost do so much and then you're like, oh, I'm exhausted. I don't want to look at anything. I'm done. So it's sort of like a little bit of a balance. To me, starting the timer gets me going. And because I tend to be an all or nothing person, if I can't do the whole closet, I won't do anything. And then because I don't have time to do the whole closet, I do nothing. And then that doesn't work. So I love a little window because it tells me when to start and when to stop. Now, when the buzzer goes off, if you have more time, I would restart the timer. But the goal is to work for the length of time, not until it's done, because until it's done could be a while depending on how much stuff is there. For anyone that took a before photo, don't forget to take an after photo so you can sort of watch your progress, because you come back and you're like, I guess I spent 7 minutes I don't know, what did I do? And then you look at the photo and you're like, wait, that pile was a lot taller. There were a whole bunch of boxes there, and we're done. Hopefully it's easy. You're making decisions all the time. So a big block of time, that's a lot of decisions. A little burst, what changes? It's hopefully motivational, physically, hopefully, if you're feeling well, we can get through a 10-minute window. And all day organizing, no one's really doing that, at least not without a ton of help. So don't forget about that after photo. There were a few questions about getting some artwork up easily, and then there were some great comments in the chat as well as how to do it. So you could certainly hang like clipboards, and then like, especially if it's children's artwork or your own, my watercolor masterpieces, you can do a little art gallery. So a clipboard or a few clipboards, you can just clip new art or decor or pictures onto it. Shadow boxes are wonderful because you can just open the front. You don't have to take anything off the wall. You open the front like a little door and you can put the newest item in, whether it's actual items or a new picture or something. The way I do my posters is it's by 3M, the Command brand, but it's not hooks. It's like hook and loop tape. So one side is the fuzzy Velcro and one side is like the sticky part. And you just put one on the wall and one on the poster. And then I just stick it up and then I can pull one off and put a new poster up, as long as the posters are all the same size, or you put the sticky part at the same part. So I love that so many of you are sharing, like, we're not exhausted after this, because who wants to be exhausted after organizing? There's so much more to do. Linda found books to pass along. Lynn says, here we go. Bullets. She made a bulletin board out of wine corks. I mean, that's a way to shop from home. Perfect. So, gosh, I'm just so inspired by all the comments here. We have a few outstanding questions that I'll be happy to get to, and I do want to give you some resources. Before I do, because I know some of you will have to scoot out exactly at the end of our our time at the hour. I'm just going to share my screen with you in case you wanted to take a picture. And this is going to let you know about some upcoming programs that are happening through our awesome Chelmsford Library. So if you're available on Thursday, December 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we'd love to see you back for 7 quick last-minute holiday decluttering tasks. And then starting in January, it'll be the first Thursday of every month, January through April. So January 4th at 7 p.m., February 1st at 7 p.m., March 7th at 7 p.m., and April 4th at 7 p.m. So we'll be doing New Year No Clutter, a 12-day challenge. Love Your Home, 7 things to declutter in February. File, Pile, Sort, Shred. That's March 7th. And if you're wondering how to organize paperwork, that's going to be your program. And how to organize your life into one notebook in April. So I'll put all of this in the chat for you so you'll be able to go ahead and click those blue links. All the registrations are open and we have 229 participants this evening. I would highly suggest that you go ahead and register sooner rather than later. And if you'd like to tell anyone about the programs, please do. If you'd like to stay in touch with me beyond our time together this evening, you can do that at jmeetnovak.com, where you can click play on a podcast. You can see the tidy up task of the day and so much more. There's a free calendar that you can follow along with as well. So these are the upcoming programs. I'll be happy to put this up again at the end of the program so you can see everything that's coming up. But please do mark your calendar December 14th and then the first Thursday of every month in the new year. So very excited about that. All right, well, let's take a look at some resources and answer some outstanding questions before we all go and enjoy our newly decluttered and cozy spaces. All right, let's talk about resources. We're going to take a look at resources and a recipe. If you'd like to stay in touch with me, the website is jmeetnovak.com. So it's just my name, jmeetnovak.com, and that's where you'll see a very long list of resources that we won't even have time to get to them all tonight. It's about 200 items, and so that'll be there for you as well. So pop over anytime you'd like. All right, let's take a look at resources. How about donationtown.org? Donation, town, T-O-W-N, town like city, but town, donationtown.org. And this one is where you can, from any state in the United States, go ahead and schedule a pickup. And so you just go there, put in your zip code, choose the organization or organizations, and then fill a bag and leave it. And they will give you a receipt for tax deduction. So if you're wondering, how do I get rid of furniture? You can log on to Donation Town and schedule a pickup with Habitat for Humanity. They take large furniture only. They'll take office supplies and records and holiday decor, coats and clothes, but don't forget to check the pockets of coats and clothes. So that would be an important one. All right, and then we're going to think about the idea of donationtown.org is great if you want to pick up. If you can drop things off, don't forget the Humane Society or Pet Shelter. And so the Pet Shelter and Humane Society, they always need linens and extra bowls. And if you have pet toys, cleaning supplies, that would be a great one, or any laundry supplies, that would be a really nice one as well. So a local Humane Society or Pet Shelter if you had some items to share. You can donate your shoes through Donation Town, but DSW Shoe Store takes shoes also, and they collect for Souls for Souls. That's DSW Shoe Store, and they collect for Souls for Souls. J. Crew and Land's End are collection points for coats. They collect for one warm coat. J. Crew and Land's End, one warm coat. And if you have consumer electronics that need to be recycled, Best Buy and Staples stores take them year-round at no charge. Best Buy and Staples stores for consumer electronics. So that would be really helpful as well. All right, now let us also turn our attention to a little recipe. And this is one that I make, it's I think very delicious, especially if you're trying to clean out your pantry and you have a jar of preserves. I tend to use like an apricot preserve, but we just want it to pair well. I use a goat cheese. You could use a brie cheese, but basically we're going to take the crescent rolls, whether it's the crescent roll sheet or the actual crescent rolls, but we're just going to cut them into a little square to tuck into a mini muffin tin. And so we're just going to take those little squares. They're usually like 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, tuck it in, and then you're going to dollop in just a bit of cheese, a thin slice of brie or a little bit of goat's cheese, or honestly, any other cheese that you like and have that pairs well with probably a fruit preserve. Then you're going to bake that. It's probably going to be about 375 degrees, probably somewhere around 10 minutes. So just watch them when they're brown and cooked all the way through. So your cheese will be all melty and delicious. And when they come out, as they're starting to cool, a little dollop of a preserve. So I'll do a brie and an apricot, a goat's cheese and an apricot. You could do a fig preserve. You could do a raspberry. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And they're just one little bite. It's something that you could put in and then set a timer and then enjoy them when they're done, or share them if you wanted to. So that's just a little something. It does tend to really make the kitchen smell beautiful. There is a reason why, you know, when you're selling your home, to create a welcome home for new buyers, they'll ask you to like cook up maybe brownies or, you know, chocolate chip cookies, because again, it's all the scents, layering in all that in our home. So the monthly calendar that you can print for free is at jmeetnovak.com. So I see that as a question there. It's jmeetnovak.com. And it's right there on the blog. You can print it and then follow along. Every day I give you a teeny tiny tidy up, and we have a lot of fun. So I think that's maybe something to consider. And then from there, we had a question about organizing photographs. So I love this, Mary. And honestly, maybe we can propose to the library, if we're going to continue our series, that photographs be one whole time, because that is a thing. So it's just like everything else. Figure out your goal and then work in small windows of time, because there's no other way. And I do it by decades because I can't do chronological by exactly chronological. So I'll just do it by decades. I know many of us are going to scoot off now. I'll open up the opportunity to any questions that you may have. I think this would be a great start. Don't forget to look at your before photo. Spend 10 minutes tomorrow and see what changes. I was wildly impressed by everyone's success so far. So this is fantastic. Barb, yes, this session is being recorded, so thank you for asking. If it feels like your decluttering doesn't seem to last, my best guess would be that we're doing the initial effort, but then we don't have the consistent follow-up. So unfortunately, it's not just like, oh, let me buy new clothes hangers and that will solve my closet problem, because you're going to get more clothes and you're going to do laundry. And so it's not the most enjoyable answer, but I'm going to venture a guess that either we're bringing in too much to keep up with, or we're missing the routine. And my mom always said, don't put it down, put it away. Don't put it down, put it away. And that seems to work for me. I don't think it's anything that you're doing wrong so much as we're not implementing that success, which is don't put it down, put it away. There's a question about embracing minimalism. And yes, I think that's a great thought. I think that you can think of minimalism in a spectrum. You know, some people are very minimalistic. They have, you know, 2 pairs of shoes, 1 kitchen knife. And then you can still be on the minimalism scale, but, you know, have a amount of things that works for you. The whole thing is you've got so much square footage in your current home, and how much of that do you want to fill up with stuff? Because each and everything you keep, each and everything you bring home, you have to deal with. So it's just how much time and energy you want to spend with stuff versus enjoying life and spending time. And it sounds like some of us are really being proactive in making a decision about how much stuff we really want, which brings us to holiday gifts and giving experiences. Let's go somewhere. Let's do something. Here's a gift to do something versus more cute things, which I think not so much. Teresa's asking about the U.S. Veterans Outreach Organization or shelter. Yeah, so when you go to donationtown.org and put in your zip code, you're going to see local community organizations as well as locally, nationally, the more recognized ones. So it should be there for you and you'll be all set. All right. And our final thought about going through the home and like emptying the trash can and emptying the recycling. Absolutely. So I'm going to put up the upcoming programs as I answer this final question for you. And I call it the 3-minute makeover. The idea is that you kind of walk into a room. We're going to scan the floor for anything that doesn't belong on the floor, which is probably everything because we don't want any trip hazards. The second minute you're in the room, anything that belongs in that room, put it away. The third minute, grab the trash, dishes, and head to the next room. And if you do that in every single room of your house, depending on how many rooms there are and how often they're used, you could do a little refresh at the end of the day or first thing in the morning to really start yourself off beautifully. So on the screen, you'll see the upcoming programs. We do hope to see you starting December 14th. And I think I'll be able to, hang on one second, and put the link in the chat for all the upcoming programs, should you like to grab your space now to ensure that you are registered to join us. Let's take a look at the chat to be sure we've answered everything. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Join us in chat if you'd like to say, anything. I see all the lovely comments coming in. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts about our time together. Listen, without you, this wouldn't be possible. So a big thank you to the Chelmsford Library and to you for tuning in and joining us. Very excited to have shared this with you tonight. Let's take a look and see if there's any remaining questions. Yes, I have a junk drawer. The junk drawer is everything that doesn't belong in a particular category. But again, it's only the things I'm using most often. All the other tools that I use once in a while belong back in the toolbox when I'm done with them, which is part of that routine of putting things back where they belong. My goodness, what a fun time. Well, it looks like we had 243 attendees join us. And gosh, I'm so glad that you were one of them. I hope that you have marked your calendar for December 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, when I'm going to share 7 quick last minute things that you can do to declutter your home, especially if companies on the way, so we can get festive in a flash. So instant organizing on December 14th. Followed by January 4th, a 12-day declutter challenge. We would love to see you back. You can stay in touch with me at jamienovak.com. And of course, you can go to chelmsfordlibrary.org for more information about the library. As we wrap up, I'll skim through chat to hopefully make sure we've answered all the questions. I know so many of you are scooting off now. So let's take a look. Yes, Kathy's been busy clearing stuff. Oh, the refrigerator. Again, such a source of clutter. I love it, Kathy. That's fantastic. Oh my goodness, what lovely comments coming in. The 3-minute makeover, we're going to scan the floor in minute 1, everything up off the floor or away. Dog toys, fold the blanket, put the pillow back, floor. Everything that belongs there in minute 2, you put away in the room. Minute 3, we're taking the trash, the dishes, and going to the next room. You repeat the process, floor, put things away, head out the door to the next room. Floor, put things away, head out the door to the next room. And all of a sudden, by the time you've made a loop around your home, depending on how many spaces you have, you'll have put everything away. Everything will be back where it belongs. So there we go. Patricia, it looks like you're looking for a link. I'm not sure which one that is, but please let us know if you need something. Be very happy to get that for you. And we're logging off our time together tonight, but what a delight it was to join you. I hope you enjoy your new comfy, cozy, clutter-free homes. Happy holidays, everyone. We'll see you right before the holiday. So please do sign up now. Registration links are in the chat. You could also go to the library's website. So Patricia, hopefully you see in the chat all the links for the upcoming programs, and everything is, of course, on the library's website. So you can go ahead and take a look in the chat. So Thursday, December 14th is our next program. And here's the information, followed by January 2024, if you can imagine. And that's going to be on January 4th. And there's the information for that one. And if you click that blue link, it should open on your side and you'd be able to register. Even once you leave the program, it should open for you. So you should be good there. And if you have any questions, please reach out to the library. I know they'd be very happy to work with you to find out what you need. I don't know that there's a keyword to search for all the classes, although I guess you could just do my name, right? Novak, N-O-V-A-K. That might work for you. And it's going to be the first Thursday of every month in the new year. So I hope that helps, Janet. Great. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in December, which December 14th will be here before you know it. Happy December. Tomorrow's December 1st. And listen, congratulations, everyone. You took time with us today, did a little something, and now we're going to enjoy our space. And to keep it going, we've got to keep that routine up. Thank you so much for having us. To the library, thank you for making our series possible. To you for tuning in with us. And it was lovely to get to see you tonight. Enjoy the holiday season. And furniture removal. Oh, yes, that was donationtown.org, and it's Habitat for Humanity takes large furniture. Habitat for Humanity, and you can reach them through donationtown.org. So I hope that's helpful. Perfect. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. Enjoy your clutter-free spaces, and we'll see you.